The Marcus Deegan Show. What's the story, guys? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Deegan. If you're watching this, you're listening to the accent, you're looking at the flag, you're thinking, where is this guy shooting from? He's got to be in Australia, right? He's an Aussie. Absolutely not. You guys know where I'm shooting from. Sin City, the place of bright lights and world title fights. There's no better place to be than here in this place at this time right now. I'm getting the privilege to talk to some of the really inspiring and entertaining people from around the world, from the entertainment industry and from the world of mixed martial arts, combat sports. That's what we're here for, right? Thanks for joining us. Today's episode is sponsored by Title Sport Cryotherapy Spray, titlesport.com. Go check it out. Tell them Marcus sent you. Thanks for joining us again. If you're listening on Spotify, we do appreciate it. Apple Podcasts, thank you. And boom, iHeartRadio, we're on that as well. So thanks for listening wherever you are around the world. Today's episode, we've got another great one for you. As I said before, guys, I like to speak to inspirational and dynamic people that have a story to tell, that have an interesting story to tell. My next guest is one of those people. He's the type of guy that if you're going out on a night drinking with the boys, you definitely want to have this guy by your side. Let me just read out a couple of these accolades right here. 4 times Pan Am world champion, 3 times world champion, 2 times No Guy world champion, 5 times American national champ. I mean, the accolades go on and on and on. He's a family man. The Mexican Aztec blood runs strong in his veins, which is why he's got to achieve so much life, from struggles and tribulations to crawling out of a hole and making himself one of the number one names in the game. I'm very, very privileged to have him on the podcast today. Would you please welcome Hector Mighty Mouse Vasquez? What's the story, brother?
What's up, brother? Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on your show. And man, I'm just blessed, happy to be alive and be here with you guys as well.
Where does that positive attitude come from? Happy to be alive. Like, why is that something that you have to verbalize?
Man, so about 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I'm 43. And man, it was a struggle, and trying to stay positive for my students and making sure that they saw that, hey, I wasn't, just because I had this obstacle in my life, I wasn't going to just go into depression or just sit back. No, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to teach my students that if I can fight this, then anything in life is possible. And man, luckily about, 2 weeks ago, I was told that after my surgery that I was diagnosed undetectable cancer, which is awesome. I'm so happy for that, man. And I know I just want to be an inspiration and also be able to bring this open to all men that, we need to get checked at a young time, or don't wait. Mine was an accident. I didn't know about it. The only reason I knew it because they had accidentally gave me my results for my PSA levels, because they usually don't check until you're 50 years old. And man, it was a blessing in disguise. So I always tell people, health over wealth.
So obviously the early detection is what saved you, right?
Yes, so I was able to catch it at stage 1. 30% was found inside the prostate, inside the gland, so it hadn't spread into my bones and stuff like that. So I had to make a choice: either do radiation or chemo, or remove it. Of course, at a young age, men are very scared of, what if I do that, and my sexual drive or whatever, and they decide not to do it. I have a friend that he decided to go out that route, and unfortunately, now that he's 52, they found that the cancer came back. So now, and they're only giving him like 2-3 years to live. So again, it's unfortunate, but I think I made the right choice. I was also thinking the way he was, but at the end of the day, 4 months later, man, I'm back to normal. And luckily, it's going great for me. So again, I always tell people, stay positive. You're going to have a lot of setbacks in life, a lot of, obstacles you're going to have to go through, but stay positive and, everything's going to come out okay. So luckily for me, I'm in a good place.
I mean, when you're 43 years old, how many kids do you have now, mate?
So I had my kids when I was almost 16, 17 years old. Yeah, I started at a young age. My daughter, she's about 24. My son, he's about 22. They live in Los Angeles, where I grew up. And then I have my my other two kids. My daughter's 17, in college already, and my son, he's 15. And they all, they're one of the best things that could have happened to me, and obviously my wife, Beth.
So, I mean, I suppose when that news came along, not only was it just absolutely terrifying for you, but then there's also your family that's been thrown this burden as well. And I'm assuming all your friends and all your students and all the people that work with you. So you're not only carrying that burden, but now kind of everyone has got that feeling that it's going to affect them as well. So when you heard this news, how long did it take till the positive mindset started kicking in? Because I'm sure you hear that news and you're shocked and you're scared. When do you start turning it around and going, you know what? No, I'm not going to let this beat me. How long does it take for that to happen?
So I'm gonna tell you, like, I didn't really. So I went a urologist, and they told me exactly, hey, I got it. And that day when they told me, I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, I'm training every day, like, hard, and I feel good. There's
So there
no
was no symptoms. You had nothing at all.
nothing at all. I was just training, and I found out, and then he told me, and I was like, man, you got to be kidding me! And man, that weekend when he told me Thursday, that weekend, man, I was just like sad and just, hitting myself away from everybody. I didn't really demonstrate it to my students. You know what I mean? I didn't want them to know exactly what's going on until I had a plan set in place. Obviously my wife, she was very supportive. She was there for me. We did a lot of research, and without her, man, I wouldn't be, where I'm at today. Um, but honestly, man, I stayed positive right after that weekend. Sunday night, I talked to my wife, and I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna let this stop me. I'm gonna continue to do everything that I need to do for all my students, everybody at the academy. We're not gonna say a word. We're gonna go in there and just keep doing our work. Of course, I thought about it, but during, even before that, I've always kept that positive energy in my gym, because people can feel that. And I didn't really tell them anything for a while until I knew I had my surgery date, and I told them, hey guys, you know what? This came up. I support, I'm thankful for all the support you give me. Going into surgery, I'll be back ASAP. The doctor told me 6 to 7 months. A week later, I was at the catheter, and I was already teaching class. I didn't wait. So again, I wanted to teach, I wanted people to take it and see that anything is possible. You have that strong mentality, you're not gonna let anything overcome you. And I was prepared of whatever was gonna come after that.
I suppose this quote that I wrote down that you had written on your Instagram kind of makes a little bit more sense now. You said here, life isn't meant to be easy, it's meant to be lived. Sometimes happy, other times rough. You learn. Every ups and downs have lessons that make you strong.
Yes, yes,
So what lesson did you learn from all that situation?
man, the life is too short. You
Mm.
know, you just gotta enjoy every moment, every win, every loss, and it's just health over wealth is what I learned from the whole thing. And now I try to take vacations. Before, man, I was just a workhorse. Now I take time with my family, kind of separate it. I made an extra day off during the week to spend with my wife. We call it Wednesday. It's just wife day. There's
That's
no
good.
gym, just shut it down. So, man, I just take that, and I try to pass it on to everybody that surrounded me, just to you know stay positive, keep that energy. And again, you're gonna run into obstacles, but it's up to you if you want to stay back or you want to get ahead. And that's what I took from all this.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you did it pretty quickly. Some people take a lot longer when, to try and get it out of the way quickly like you did is just highly commendable. And everything's good now. You're all healthy now, and there's no chance of it coming back.
So right now, it was undetectable, so they didn't detect any cancer. I think the first 2 years I have to go get blood work every 3 months just to make sure that my PSA
Yeah.
is under point 0.5, which was, I think mine came out at 0.04, so it was way lower than what it usually is. Um, so now every 3 months for the first year, then the next year it'll go to 6 months if everything's good. And then after that, I think for the next 3 years, it's every year. So after that, then I could actually say, hey, it hasn't came back, and I'm good to go.
Well, I mean, there you go, guys. Like Coach just said it, there was no symptoms. He wasn't in pain. Nothing was happening to him. They caught it by accident, found out he had cancer. If he hadn't have caught it by the third or fourth stage, he probably wouldn't be here having this conversation with me right now. So, guys, if you're in your look, I'm just about to hit 52, and I still haven't had mine checked. I'm going to make it a point to go in the next couple of weeks and get this done because, as you say, don't know what's there until you get it checked, and it could save your life.
Yeah, and absolutely. And then I try to, preach it now that it's happened to me. I tell everybody, go get checked, man. I
Yeah.
know you say, oh man, I'm not going to have no doctor do this, do that. Things have changed. They don't put their finger in your butt. You're fine. Um,
What
but
they don't? Damn it!
right? Some people, hey, good for you. But I mean, don't worry about that stuff. At the end of the day, you're going to have to do it. When I was researching this prostate cancer stuff, it's one of the biggest things that go on in men. 1 in 6 men will either have it or will get it at some point. 1 in 6. So that tells you that it'll be there. And also, obviously, genetics. If your family
Yes.
has anything, you always get checked for that and continue to monitor it.
So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to put a link in the description right underneath here, which can send you to get any information on where you can get checked or how you can get checked, and information on this deadly friggin' disease that's just, I wish it was gone. All right, Coach. Well, I'm glad about that. Let's switch it up a bit. Talking about loss and talking about, getting up and getting back. The last time I saw you was after Brandon's fight in California. Man, it was hard to be there. I'm gonna say it was hard to be there because I could see that although people were trying to celebrate, there was still there was a lot of hurt and there was a lot of pain. And how's Brandon doing? And how do you move on from a loss like losing a world championship?
Yeah, so obviously it was a tough fight. It was really close. I thought
Mm.
we had pulled it off. Unfortunately, we don't really the moment you leave it to the judges, it's kind of a little tougher. But he was in good spirits. We sat down after, and we watched the fight, and we went over a couple things. And again, we're back on the horse on Monday right after that, and making adjustments, seeing what they made some great adjustments. We expected them to chop the leg. So that was expected. I feel like we could have been a little bit more grapply, more clinchy like we did in the second fight. But again, it's a fight, and they made some great adjustments. We're gonna make our adjustments, and we're ready to go. We're hoping soon we have some information about that for the fourth one. But he's in good spirits. We're back on there. We're already making those adjustments, and we'll be ready.
Yeah, it definitely was a close. Definitely was a close one, and for him to win the first, them to draw in the second, and then Brandon to win the third, and then very very close. And the fourth is going to is the make or break fight. Do you think? Because they've all been so close. It's kind of back and forth, and now this one. What would you call it? The quadruple?
I guess that's what you would call it. This
Yeah.
is I think this is the first in history that'll happen. Of course, obviously in the second we finished him. The third, obviously, it didn't go our way, but I think in the fourth we're gonna put the nail in the coffin. Like I said, they made some adjustments, and this is the fight game, and you have to get better and make those adjustments as well. And again, I think Brandon's doing a great job of making those adjustments. He's a great learner. He's quick. I started working with him after his first fight with Figueiredo. He came to the gym. My wife told me, "Hey, there's some Brandon Moreno guy coming." I'm like, "Oh, Brandon?" And he walked up, and I saw him, and he's like, "Hey, Prof, I need some help." And I'm like, "Man, let's go." And obviously, you saw the adjustments we made in the second fight.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yes.
and I even called it. Jason House and everybody, they were asking me, and I'm like, we'll wear them out and we'll finish them in the third with a rear naked choke. Obviously, I couldn't be there. I had my own show that I was running, EUG Promotions that I do here in Vegas. And but I was watching at the same time the fight, and when I see him take his back, I knew that was going to be it. So I was just so happy for him, man. He works so hard. He spends a lot of time with his family, and he's just he deserved it. And again, I feel like the fourth one, we'll get it back. I feel we're still on the A side. I mean, they need us more than we need them, and we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, I've had Brandon on my podcast a couple of times. He's definitely one of my favorite guests. He's just such a really good guy, and I just love being around him. His energy's so positive, and yeah, he's just a great kid, and I just wish nothing but the best for him. So let's talk about this for a second. Hang on, let me just get this information up.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about corridos.
Okay. All right.
So now, just from what I've kind of learned, it's a story. It's a story that's written by Mexicans. It is not mariachi. Okay, it is more of stories of life. Would you say that's correct?
That is correct.
Now these guys did a fantastic one for Brandon Moreno, and then I came across yours a few days ago, and I've found I've caught onto that as well. Now my lovely fiance is Mexican descent, so she had to kind of translate what it meant, and I really loved it. How did that come about? Where did that come from, and how did you get this done for you?
Yeah. So one of the guys, shout out to Ariel. He is one of the amazing. He produces the songs for corridos para peleadores. After when I started working with Brandon, he hit me up and he's like, "Hey, I would like to do a corrido for you." And man, like, just to have your own song about your life was
Yeah.
very, very, very like, it was just amazing for me. And he made it, and I heard it, and I was like, "Wow!" Like, so a huge honor to be able to be part of that and be part of Assassin Baby and some of the best fighters that came out of Mexico. And man, it's just, I didn't expect it. Go listen to it on Spotify. Go check it out, Sangre Azteca. And man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
I mean, I love that kind of music anyway, and so I mean, and when I heard the Brandon one, I love that one, and then of course when I heard yours, I love that one as well. So yeah, so go and check it out on Spotify. And the way that us Aussies say it, Sangria Azteca. All right, that's how I say it. Is that right, Coach?
Sangre Azteca?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, nice. So let's jump into. I mean, out of all of these titles that you have, and there's so many of them here, and I just can't believe that you have that many. What would you say? Which one stands out for you more than any of them? What's your favorite go-to title that you won?
You know what? Honestly, I don't know if you ever heard Mike Tyson, but they asked Mike Tyson at one point, like, all these titles that you have, Mike, boom, 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 boom. He's like, man, it's just there. Like, honestly, the biggest title for me is seeing my students succeed. That to me is worth more of the titles that I have, because I'm able to give back and see and allow them and see them live their dream. Like, Brandon, and I have Giovanna and Brian Zutra that just fought on PFL, getting a contract. Kasula, Liam Hill, just a bunch of different guys that I work with. Valentina, Antonina, Claudia Gadelia that I was able to see. Khabib, be part of his camp when, he fought Connor. And it's just been amazing to be a part of that. And just to see how it changes their lives is amazing. So honestly, I mean, titles, like I tell everybody, you win Saturday, by Monday, no one gives two shits who you are, who it is, because at the end of the day, they won't remember that. And to me, yeah, it was awesome to be able to do that. But I feel like if I can change the lives of others, I've done my job. And that to me is worth more than anything else.
So you pretty much just answered my next question, which was going to be, what do you get more satisfaction out of, winning those titles or helping other people win titles? And you just answered the question.
Everyone else, like, just to see you saw Brandon when he won his, man, it's just emotional. All the hard work, all the hours and the time that you put in. Kasula being able to come back and win a lot, start fighting all these prospects and just knocking them down. Just that right there. Some of my kids, Frank Cespedes, Helena, my 14-year-old, that just goes out there and just, dominates in their fights, and seeing them grow and being able to build their name and their brand is awesome for me. So again, I do the yelling and they do the work. So that to me just makes it even more better.
So the kids are following in dad's footsteps as well, Hector?
No, so that's one thing. Like everybody's like, "Oh, your kids are so good." I said, "Listen, I give them the opportunity to choose if this is for them." To me, I think education is so more important, comes first, because I feel like for me, I was a civil engineer and I have a backup plan. I feel like they need a backup plan. If this is what you choose, also make sure that you have a backup plan, because you can get injured and then your career could be over. You need to have something there. So my daughter, she wants to be an eye doctor. She's going to college for that. So I don't really, she trains here and there, but I don't really push her. My son, he's still in high school, and I still have him teaching classes with the kids, so he understands, maybe he doesn't want to have a child or something because he has to deal with kids all day. But Sam, he's a good kid. My son Anthony, he's doing well. My daughter Giselle, she's out there in LA, and they're doing great, man. I'm happy. I'm happy that they're happy. And again, it's whatever path they choose, I will always support them 120%.
So how long have you been in Vegas for now?
So I've been in Vegas for about 7 years. I moved here in 2015. Um, I was invited here by Sean Shelby's wife, Helen Shelby, which again, always grateful for everybody that comes into my life and gives me the opportunities. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here in
Right.
Vegas. So forever grateful. I got here also, one of the guys that, man, opened the doors for me a lot was Ali Abdelaziz. Opened a lot of doors for me, man, and gave me the opportunity to work with some of his guys and bringing his guys to my gym. So again, another guy that I'm thankful. And man, it was funny because I came out here, I didn't know nobody. They told me, "Hey, move down here." They FaceTime me a place, and I was like, "Oh, it looks nice. All right, you need to be here Monday and open the gym." I was like, "Oh man, I'm opening the gym." Threw my stuff, and I told my cousin to, take care of the house. And, after that, jumped in my BMW, threw a microwave in there, threw my clothes, off to Vegas, and got him, had to make it happen.
And it's all been uphill from there. And you're working with some amazing fighters from the industry all over the place. You're heading to London very soon, right?
Yes, yes. So we head out Tuesday to London. One of my students, Rodrigo Casula Vargas, is fighting Patty the Batty, right? Tough fight. We're going to enemy enemy grounds, and again, we're prepared. We're ready. It's going to be a tough one. I know Patty comes out very aggressive. You know, creates chaos and gets to his position. So we got a good game plan. We just need to stay calm, weather the storm. It's going to be loud. Probably going to get bottles thrown at us. Only 3, 4 Hispanics in London. So I'm excited for it, man. I wish, I wish everybody the best, but we're there to win and, come back with a victory.
Definitely looking forward to that. I've had Paddy the Batty on the podcast as well. Do you think that a win over him will significantly bring your names out there a little bit more? Because even though he's only had one fight in the UFC, he's a pretty well-known name in the MMA world.
Yes, yes, man. It's a great opportunity for us, to make some noise. He's got a big name. When they presented that fight to me, Casula sent me a message. He's like, "Hey, I got a new opponent," and he sent me a picture, and I was like, "Oh man, gotta be kidding me." It's a tough fight,
Yeah.
Patty's he's good everywhere, and we're well rounded as well. I feel there's a couple little holes that we found that we saw in his last fight,
Yep.
but he's very dangerous. He's very dangerous, even when he's being hurt. So he stays very calm in those situations. He doesn't panic. So we have to be very careful with that. And man, it's going to be a great fight. But I think we're going to pull off a little upset. Casula's not easy to take out. Obviously, he could take a punch, and we're curious. We're curious to see, and again, he's going to go in there 120% with a game plan, and we're going to go in there with our game plan, and the best man's going to win.
I believe Paddy was nearly finished in the first round in his last fight. He's got pretty good jiu-jitsu, great grappling, and what that rear naked choke of his has always been a signature move. So I'm definitely looking for, and I just love I love it when the fights are in another country, because obviously you're going to have everybody from London there. Paddy's an English guy, so that's going to be all about him. As you said, 3 Hispanics there. It's gonna, but doesn't that give you more like armor? Doesn't that give you more? Okay, you're okay. All right, yep. Bring it. Show me what you give me everything. Does it do that?
Absolutely. We're expecting, it's going to be loud. He's going to come out strong, trying to just take us out right off the bat. We're expecting that. So, to me, it's great. We've been the underdogs. I think today, one of my posts that I posted today, man, I've been an underdog since I was born. So changing the results is the goal for me, So again, hard work will change that result. I hope they didn't take us lightly, because they're going to be surprised of how good, well-rounded we are in all aspects. And man, I'm excited.
So you talked about working, on Khabib's camp. Tell me what you think of the future of, they say the future of the 155-pound division. Islam Makhachev, obviously, has an outstanding record. Did a great job a couple of weeks ago. And then before that, what do you think of him? And do you think that he is going to be the next Khabib?
So I've been around Islam and Khabib since mid 2018, 2017. Seeing him grow, he's going to be a problem for everybody. He's well-rounded. He's got hands. Javier Mendez has done an amazing job with those guys. Khabib as well. They're very tight. They're very, very loyal to each other. They stick together and they help each other. It's amazing to see, man. And I'll tell you what, when they used to come to my gym, I used to watch him and I'm like, man, this kid is good on his back, off his back. I don't really see Justin really giving him a hard time on the ground. I think Charles Oliveira, he's got very good ground, very good on top, heavy, but Islam and those guys are just another level, man. Unfortunately, I've been able to see it personally. I've seen them roll with high-level jiu-jitsu, guys and ADCC world champions. And man, it's just a little bit different, they're built different. They don't get tired. A gas tank for days, and he will be the next world champion at 155.
Does he have one specific thing that makes him stand out, or is he just well-rounded in everything?
Well, I think the top pressure, his pressure on top and his wrestling, they do such a great job in combining the both together, tying it together. And they like to wear people out. They're not spazzy. They're very technical. They take their time, to get to their positions. I don't know if you noticed this last fight when he took Bobby Green down, they work their way from the legs up inch by inch by inch, and they stay tight. So that it's very hard. So every time you're trying to get up, it's just draining on you because they just keep coming and they keep coming and the pressure's there. So it's just different. For some people that never felt that, they don't understand. Of course, my professor Cobrinha has a similar style where I learned from, and that right there makes you realize like how heavy somebody could actually feel at that weight. And I'll tell you what, Islam is the real deal everywhere. And I don't really see anybody giving him a hard time to get to where he wants to get to.
Who do you really think is standing out in the UFC at the moment, in any division? Is there someone that particularly stands out to you that, stands out where you think, yeah, they could definitely be a world champion, or wow, we haven't seen anything like this before? Anyone like that at the moment?
Shemaya, was it Shemaya?
Hamzat.
Hazma. He's interesting. This next fight's gonna tell you exactly where he stands, because Gilbert Burns is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
And Gilbert, I grew up, watching him in jiu-jitsu so much, and he's good on his back. He's good on top. I'm curious. After this fight, I would say that would be the guy. But to me, Kamaru Usman has evolved and continues to evolve.
Yep.
Every year. That I'm very impressed. I always like to see guys, especially his wrestling, coming from the beginning of his fights. He was always wrestling, but now that you see him starting to evolve his hands, he's only going to get better. Yeah. And he's starting to understand and put it together. So to me, Kamaru for sure is one of those guys that's just going to continue to go through that division. But I'm curious to see how this Burns and Hanbat fight looks. That's the one that interests me the most.
Definitely. I'm on the same page as you when it comes to that. Now, just flipping the boat a little bit. I had a bunch of people ask me just to get people's opinions on it, and it's kind of a touchy subject. So I hope you don't mind me asking. Recently, Cain Velasquez was denied bail for shooting at a vehicle and then hitting someone in the car. The guy that is allegedly had molested one of Cain's family members. This guy gets out on bail. This guy gets out with no bail. Just has to wear a thing around his bracelet. Yet they didn't let Cain out. What are your thoughts on that? And how messed up do you think this justice system is?
I feel that the justice system has gone down. Man, I grew up in the worst streets of Los Angeles, and obviously back then, man, they were by the book. You're going. Now it seems like they've really let us down in those situations. I think Cain would have did what any man would have done for their child or a relative. Me personally, I would have done the same thing. I feel I would have approached it. I would have planned it a little bit better, but honestly, I don't know at the moment what he was thinking, right? So I can't judge the way he approached it and just took off and just did it. But I think I would have done a little bit different. But I would have totally done the same thing that he did, if not worse. So again, it's sad to see, and I think it's the government's fault for allowing him to come out. You allowed him to come out for him to do what he did. If you guys would have kept him incarcerated with no bail, which is what you're doing to Cain, then that situation wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
When you do that, that just shows that, man, I mean, either way, we're wrong.
Right.
I mean, you're allowing this guy to be out in the streets, being able to do that to another child, which to me is wrong. But, I hope they free Cain. Unfortunately, there's laws in this world you have to follow. But as a Hispanic telling another Hispanic, to me, he did the right thing. And honestly, man, I would have done the same thing as well.
Pretty much the same sentiments as what everybody has said. So prayers out to Cain, and especially prayers out to Cain's family and his wife. Let's hope this passes quickly, and let's hope that bastard gets what he deserved. There's a nice place in hell for people like that, because there's no coming back.
I'm sure he'll get his. And again, God has a way of punishing people, and I hope Cain's able to get out.
Yeah.
And let's support him and his family. It's a tough time, but like I said, I think every man that would have been in his shoes would have done the same thing.
Yep, 100%. Okay, well, thanks for asking. I mean, I just need to ask these things because I need to feel, your opinion, and I kind of knew what the answer was going to be anyway, but it's just good to voice it and just to hear it. So, you got London coming up, and then what after that, Coach? What's happening this year? Have you got a
Yeah.
busy year ahead?
So this month of March has been busy. So this past weekend, obviously my student Brian Zucher uh, fought at PFL, the Challenger Series.
Yep.
He won his bout with a tough opponent. Um, that was this weekend. We came out with a win. The next one, obviously, is London
Hmm.
this coming weekend with Casula.
Yep.
Then after that weekend, the following weekend, I have LFA with Giovanna Canuto. She's an
Hmm.
up-and-coming 115er. She's 2-0, going for 3-0 at the end of the month. And then, from my understanding, we don't have a date, but from what it looks like, we're going to have the fourth fight with
Yep.
Figueiredo. And then I think that's pretty much up to that summertime. That's what we know up to now. So it looks like we're going to be busy. And like I said, we stay busy. I'm always constantly training. These guys are constantly training. They're workhorses. I'm so honored to be working with these guys. Obviously, Valentina is also coming up as well. Antonina's probably going to be fighting on the same card. So a lot of work going on. But again, I'm just happy to
Hmm.
be able to be a part of their journey and help them in whatever I can.
Wow. It's great to be busy. It's great to have options. It's great to be in this industry and hanging around and all these amazing people and these amazing athletes. And sometimes you must pinch yourself and just think, damn, I got a good life.
You know, it's funny. I've never really been into like, oh my God, I didn't like to corner, by the way. I don't.
You
I
don't like it?
It's not that I don't like it. I just don't like the staying away from my family for like a week and sitting in
Yeah.
a hotel room,
Hmm.
right? And you know that was one thing. But to me, I don't really get starstruck. It's like, hey, you know what? I treat them like human beings, like they're a brother or sister or one of my kids, and I just hope that they don't get hurt. Um, but yeah, a lot of people are like, oh my God, you work with this guy, man. If you guys only knew like how hard it is to, you know, separate those, it makes a big difference when you do. When you
Yeah.
don't get starstruck and you just treat them like normal human beings, they really appreciate that. So again, I think through the years, just watching my professor work with Verdum and Cyborg and all those coming up, I learned so much from my professor Cobrinha that kind of helped me like, hey, understand how a fighter feels and how I should present myself as a professional.
Yeah, Chris was amazing on the podcast. She was great. I will say I'm not really one to get starstruck. I kind of was a bit starstruck when I met Brandon Moreno, but then after 5 minutes of interviewing him, he's just such a great kid that you kind of forget about that and you're just looking at the person. So, um,
And that's one thing about Brandon, man. Like people don't know. I mean, I go to his house all the time. We're sitting there, really honestly, when it's just normal, we talk about just normal things, not fighting, his kids. He's such a great father. His daughter competed recently,
saw that.
first tournament, and he's out there supporting, that things like that. And man,
Yeah.
I've been around him and all these people, they support him so much, coming from nothing and to making it to do something. And I mean, even with that being said, he's still the same guy that he was
Yeah.
when he didn't have anything. So it's awesome. I mean, you see it. He's just different.
Yep.
It's different kid.
It's so great. I get to talk to everybody and not the fighters, the coaches, people from the industry, and it's good to get the backstories. I mean, I love your backstory. I love what you've achieved and what you've overcome. The way that we kind of like to finish out the podcast is that, and you kind of did at the beginning, but I'll get you to summarize it and give one little quote. Anyone that's feeling a bit down, that maybe needs a bit of an inspirational sentence, paragraph, a few words to light some fire under their ass, what would you have to say, Coach?
Man, I have to say, listen, man, you know, go after your dreams, man. Don't ever let anybody tell you that it's not possible or put you down, send you that negativity. I tell everyone this: surround yourself with successful people, you will be successful. You surround yourself with negativity, negative things are going to happen. So, you know what? Believe in yourself. You're going to have setbacks, but those setbacks will set you up for a great comeback. And again, believe in yourself, put in the work. There's a saying that we have as Hispanics. Everybody says hard work. For us, it's trabajo duro. So just put in the work, believe in what you're doing, and don't let nobody ever tell you that it's not possible. Everything in this world is possible, and I'm a proven fact of that. So,
I mean, there you go, guys. He said it. You need to listen to it and apply it, because it's coming from the heart, and it's coming from experience, and it's coming from actually doing it and it working. Giving the advice to you. Brother, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm glad we got to have the chance to chat. I haven't seen you since the Brandon party, but I'm glad that I got to see you today. And I'll definitely look forward to seeing you in person. Maybe I'll come down to the gym and have a roll. You can click this old man out for a little bit, and we'll definitely catch up again in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And again, you're always welcome to my gym. Come have some fun. Get that little cobwebs off and let's go. It's nice seeing you. Hope to see you soon. God bless everyone. Take care. And I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thanks for coming. Thanks, guys. The Marcus Deegan Show.